4th and 5th graders who've done this before, make sure that you set a good example. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our first Battle of the Books meeting. I'm so impressed that this many people are going to be participating in our Battle of the Books this year. So first of all, you've come, you've started this journey. So give yourselves a round of applause as we begin. Now, what you are committing to is, for most of you, with a team, reading and rereading 16 wonderful books. And for some of you, for 3rd graders, reading and rereading 8 wonderful books. And we will meet today to start getting organized. I have 2 things to give you today. One would be a letter to take home. It is like a sample timeline to give you an idea about how you should be progressing and when our next meetings will be. You will also, with your team today, start to organize who's going to be reading which books. Because not all team members need to read all the books. It's not a bad idea, because the more you read, the better you are going to do. We'll meet again in December, just to mark our progress. We'll meet in January twice. The first time to watch a sample battle so that you guys can see exactly what a battle looks like. For those of you who maybe did it last year, you kind of know. But also, the second time we'll meet in January so that you can get sample questions so that you can start to practice with your teammates. This year is also a very special time for us because Stafford Primary School is going to host the regional competition on March 2nd. That means that schools from as far away as Deep in the Gorge to Newburgh to all over Portland, the winning teams from those schools are going to come here to Stafford to take on our winning team in a regional competition to see who will go to the state. So that's a big deal for us and something we're really excited about. Right now, you want to be focused with your teammates, and today especially, about choosing which books you are going to read. And when I say read and reread, it's incredibly important that you know these books every which way, because the questions get very, very specific. When you battle, there are 2 types of questions. There's a question called in which book questions, in which you might say something like, in which book is does a character receive a golden ticket? And you would, of course, probably a lot of us know that without even having read the book. Now, there's also book-specific questions that deal with sometimes what genre is the type of book. So you need to know what type of book it is. Is it fiction? Is it historical fiction? Do we have any nonfiction? We used to have nonfiction titles as part of this. But the specific questions about a book might look like something like, what color was the ticket that Charlie got in Charlie the Chocolate Factory? Golden. Now that will not be a question because that's way too easy. You also need to know and memorize the names of the authors. That will be a part of answering every question. And in addition, you need to also know how to pronounce the author's name correctly. So if you say Ronald Dahl, that would be counted as incorrect. Now, behind me here, and this is also on the letter I'm going to send home with you guys, is the OBOB, stands for Oregon Battle of the Books website. You can just Google OBOB and you can find this website. Here, you can find resources, frequently asked questions. You can also find sample videos of sample battles. Here. You don't need to worry about the participant registration, but this is a great place to go where you can also find how to pronounce the author's names correctly. Because some of them are not as easy as you might think. So let me scroll down here. For example, here is where you click on to find a mock battle. We'll look at that in January, but if you want to get a better idea of what they look like, it's important to do so here. Every team, when they battle, can have 3 or 4 members at a time. If you have 5 people on your team, that's great. But one person will sit out each battle, and you will take turns to do that. Now, some of you came today and said, "Oh, Mr. Minor, I don't have a team yet." That's great. There are teams out there that need your help. Right after we separate here, we'll find great teams to place you on. And if I come up and I ask your team to welcome somebody to your team, it's a great sign of maturity and leadership to welcome someone and say, "Yes, come on our team." Even if you don't know that person yet, they could be a potential friend, and they could definitely be someone who will help you be successful with your battles. One other thing before we separate. This is a competition. And in a competition, teams will win, and some teams might not do as well. And that's okay. Everybody wins by participating, because you are improving yourself as a reader and as a student, and you're jumping off into something that you don't know how you're going to do. And that's a fantastic thing to be doing. We'll talk a little bit more about sportsmanship, but that'll be a big part of this competition. Anytime we compete against one another, sportsmanship, how we treat another person if we win, or how we treat another person if we lose, is very important. All battles will be run by myself and Mrs. Hoover. We will keep track of the score. Battles will often happen either right before school or right at the beginning of school, or right after school or right towards the end of school. Some of you may be worried like Mr. Minor. I practice piano 4 times a week right after school. I can't make that. We make sure that everybody can make battles. After all the work you're going to do, we don't want to just miss a battle because I just say so. All right? And we'll deal with that in February when our battles really begin. February 4th is when the battles start. The regional competition is on March 2nd. All those dates are in the letter that I want to give to all of you. And make sure I didn't skip over anything else you might need or want to know. Right now it's super important just to be reading and rereading. After you get yourselves organized, that's your job to do. As parents, thank you guys for coming. You can help your children by just managing, making sure that children are on target, are able to read their books, and addressing any potential problems before it, say, February, and someone says, "Oh, I got stuck in the Harry Potter series, so I didn't read any of the books." You don't want to have that happen. All right? So your job today, I have a form for each team. Very simple. Got all 16 books listed out. And it says, on this side, name the team members who will be reading that book. You don't want just one person to read a book. You want at least 2 people to read every book. Successful teams make sure at least 2 people are reading every book. If everybody wants to read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, hey, that's fine. You can put 4 people down and you're going to ace all the questions. But you want to make sure at least 2 people are reading all the books. And if you are a 4th or 5th grader, you are agreeing to read at least 8 books. Now, 3rd graders. If you're on a 3rd grade team, you can participate in whole school competitions. But we'll also be having a 3rd grade only competition, which will have just 8 of the books. I will come around and ask your team today if you would like to take part in just the 3rd grade or both. If you do both, you're responsible for all 16 books. I encourage 3rd grade to start small and just focus on the 8 books. Those 8 books are underlined here on this document, so you can still use the same document. I also have a letter to go home. This has the dates and a suggested timeline. I have 100 copies of these. It's on you to pick these up when you leave today. All right, I'm not going to pass them out right now. We'll put them on this table, and as you leave, you can pick them up. Right now, I'm about to excuse you and your teammates, and I'll give you a copy of this sheet. This is for you to really keep. This is not something that I need or that you need to give back to me, but something for me to keep. At around 2:45, 3 o'clock, if you have parents here, if your rides here, you're welcome to go, but try to complete this sheet. If you have a teammate who didn't make it today, you may have to assign them books and manage that later, but you want to make sure that at least 2 people are accounted for all the books. We can use the whole library. You can spread out, you can stay here, spread out down there, and get together with your teammates. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
Alright, so, make sure we're more organized. I'm going to call you guys up one team member at a time.
Are you okay if I get your shot for the
So,
video?
before
You're
go,
not okay?
the reading warriors, Lauren, Meg,
Okay.
Ella, and Zoe. Are you guys here?
I wanted to show my parents who was in my team. Okay.
Okay.
I got the videos in 3 parts.
Aiden, Mackenzie, Amanda,
Oh, that's not
Elizabeth, and
Oh, that's a good
John.
idea.
Come on up.
Seriously, you take that?
Yeah.
Emma Deering